Hi, welcome to the 9th episode of the New England Gal Knits podcast. I am Janet and I live in Massachusetts with my husband, our 2 boys, our cat, and our dog. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram at the New England Gal. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and if you're a new viewer, welcome. I hope you enjoy the podcast. So today is Tuesday, January 16th, and we're already 2 weeks into the new year. So when I have to say 2 weeks into the new year and I'm feeling quite overwhelmed with my knitting, I seem to have casted on extra projects and I really need to start concentrating on what I have on the needles and getting them off. I even swatched, which I'll share for my next sweater project, yet I don't have the current one off the needles yet. So I have a lot to share, and actually before I get into my finished objects, I am wearing a hand knit. So this is the Rosemont cardigan by Hannah Fettig, and I knit this at the beginning of last year. This is knit in Blue Moon Tarhi worsted in the Cranberry Bog colorway, and I love this sweater. It is super snuggly and soft and squishy. The yarn was great. My only thing is I knit this at a bigger size because the beginning of last year I had weighed a little bit more, so I find the shoulders to be a little bit big, so it does fall off my shoulders, and I'm constantly, if you see me doing this, I'm just pulling the sweater back up on my shoulders. But other than that, I love it. I do want to knit it again. It was super fast and fun, and I love the colors. Loved everything about knitting this. So let me start with my finished objects. So my first finished objects, and I say finished, they're off the needles. However, they still have a little bit more to go before I can call them completely finished. Anyways, my first ones, these were my Christmas Eve cast-ons. These are a pair of vanilla socks, and these are knit out of Legacy Fiber Arts in the Cozy Toes base, which is the merino cashmere nylon blend, and this is the Willy Wonka colorway. Here we go, here's the leftover yarn that I have, and I love this. They are super soft. Now I'm knitting these for my birthday, for my birthday socks. So my birthday is the beginning of February, so I'm glad to have them set and ready to go. I'm normally not this organized, but my Christmas socks were done well before Christmas and these were done well before my birthday, so I am happy about that. So I did knit these from toe up, did the fish lips kiss heel, and then I did the Jenny surprisingly stretchy bind off. I still have my ends to weave in. You know, when I do the cuff down, because I Kitchener the toe and the needle's already out, I just weave in my ends right away and I don't have to worry about it. I love doing the toe ups. I actually think I prefer the toe ups more than the cuff down. The only thing is, because I don't have the needle out right away, we'll see how quickly I get to weave in these ends. But I'm super happy with the way these came out, and they are soft and cozy, so I cannot wait to wear these. My second finished object, I actually had yesterday off. So yesterday was Martin Luther King Day here in the United States, and I typically don't get the day off, but I decided to take a vacation day to spend it with the boys. So instead of working on one of my many works in progress, I decided to cast on a whole new project, and actually was able to finish it all in the same day. So here it is. So this is the Jason's Cashmere hat by Sweet Fiber, and I think it's Melissa Thomson is the person behind Sweet Fiber. So this is actually knit with Skeinny Dippings worsted. I think it's Journey worsted, which is 100% Superwash merino, and this is the vintage colorway. And here is her tag. And then I held it together with, and I don't have the tag for this, so this is Rowan's Kidsilk Haze in the smoke colorway. I had bought 3 of these when I first started knitting, so about 5 years ago, to knit a wrap, and it was a kit that I got from Jimmy Bean's Wool. I got probably a quarter through the wrap and realized it's not something I would wear. It's solely knit with the mohair, and I was not enjoying it, and so I decided to rip it back. I started ripping back, there was a lighter gray color in the project. I started ripping that out, and that just kept breaking and catching and knotting up. So I threw that away. I have a lime green one of these, and then I have this smoke. So I decided, using up my stash, that I'd hold it double with the Skeinny dip, and I love the way it came out. It is super thick and super warm. I did, the pattern called for 4 inches of ribbing. It is a free pattern. I only did 2 because my gauge holding it double, it was a little bit thicker. So, but it's perfect because I can either wear it slouchy, or I can actually fold up the brim because my gauge was so off. I've made a mess of my hair. Fold up the brim and wear it closer to my head rather than slouchy. And I love the way this came out. I'm so happy with it. So that is it for my finished objects. My hair is probably a mess now. It's staticky. It's so dry. I can feel it starting to fly away. So that is it for my finished objects. Now on to my works in progress. So my first work in progress is the Dre the Sweater, and this is by Caitlin Hunter. And I do have a finished, let me get this, here we go. I have a finished body. It looks super small. I tried it on, it does fit. It's a little bit snug, but I did swatch and it does grow. It is a Superwash wool that I'm using. So I am using, this is Knit Picks Felici Bare Base, and I had dyed up the yarn myself. So I have the green, which is the main body, and then I dyed up this gold speckle with blue and red for the yoke, and it fits, it's snug, but I'm hoping once it's blocked it'll bloom and it'll get a little bit bigger. If not, it still fits, so it's not that big of a deal. So I have picked up for the first sleeve, so I just have the sleeves to go, and I love the colors. I am extremely happy with the way this is coming out. I have to say, the X pattern, I love the way it looks in the body. I don't know how well you can see that, but I am starting to find it tedious. So, especially with the cable needle. Maybe if I did it without the cable needle and got used to it, it would go faster, but so I still have all the X pattern on the arms to do, but I'm hoping get through Sleeve Island and get this done because, like I said, I have another sweater project lined up and ready to go. So I am very happy with the way this is coming out. I love the colors I chose, and I know once it's blocked it'll fit perfectly, so I can't wait to get that done. So my next work in progress is, oh, and this I didn't mention, but this is in my Tanny Casey bag. She has a shop on Etsy, and it has wax canvas bottom. I'm absolutely in love with this bag. I do want more. So my next project is being housed in my Fringe Supply Company bag, and these are the Clark socks by Jaclyn Salem. So I am knitting these out of a Homespun house, you know, in the Half-Blood Prince colorway. And here is the tag, and this is on her gold Stellina base. And I am loving the way these are coming out. So here's what I have. So this is still the first sock, so I am on the foot, and I love it. The cable's up the back, the cable down the front. I am absolutely loving this. So I have to say though, I think I did the hat, wanted to cast on the hat, and I did the majority of the body of the sweater last week, because last weekend I did 5 fish lip kiss heels. I did the Legacy Fiber Artz vanilla socks. I did these, and then my next socks I had done the 2 heels on those as well. So I was kind of socked out after doing 5 heels. I would like to learn how to do an afterthought heel. I do have the pattern for Smooth Operator by Susan B. Anderson. So I am hoping to read through that, and my next pair of socks that I cast on, that's what I would like to do, is the afterthought heel on that. So, but I am loving these, and I'm on the foot. I'm almost done. So I am thrilled with these and can't wait to get these off my needles. And then my last sock project is being housed in, this is a Harry Potter bag I had sewn up myself a few years ago. And these are for my younger son, Ryan. Here we go. And these are the Ravenclaw colorway. This is by Snallygaster Fibers in her Ravenclaw colorway. And it's a 75-25 blend, and it's her Polaris sock. So I absolutely love the way these are striping up. I love these socks, and my son had wanted the blue and bronze color because the book, Ravenclaw's colors, are blue and bronze rather than blue and silver. But I think this is great because it's got the silver, the bronze, and the blue, so it hits both the book and the movie. I'm doing these toe up 2 at a time. However, that being said, I'm going to be taking these off and putting them on 9-inch circular needles. I'm finding the 2 at the time very tedious, a lot of maneuvering with the wires and maneuvering with the yarn to make sure they don't get tangled. I am just not a 2 at the time person. I will do them concurrently. I am enjoying, I did the Legacy Fiber Arts on the 9-inch needles concurrently, and I did enjoy doing that and having them both done at the same time. So I think I'm going to do that from now on with my socks. Oh, here's one of the balls. But I do not like doing them 2 at the time on the same needle. And I don't know why I'm pulling from the inside of the ball for these. I don't like pulling from the inside of the ball. They get flat and squishy. I find they get tangled very easily. I always pull from the outside, so I don't know what I was thinking when I had started these socks. I thought maybe they'd be a little less tangling if they weren't bouncing around in the bag, but that hasn't really been the case. So today I will be going ahead and moving these to my Chalgu 9-inch circular needles. I even have them in the bag, ready to go. So my final work in progress, it doesn't look like I have gotten very far. So this is, let me show you, the Selbu Mittens by Skeindeer Knits, and it's Ellie who is behind Skeindeer Knits. I want to start doing more color work this year. I enjoy doing color work. I love the way it looks. So I figured these are with DK, and she's written these for beginners step by step, which is great. And she gives you a range of gauge, you know, and saying you can use between this needle size and this needle size to get gauge. So I have a cuff done. These are being knit out of Patons Superwash DK. So here's the tag, and it's the dark gray and then the Boudreaux colorway is what I'm using. So it isn't high contrast, but I'm just gonna try, look at, but I do love the way it looks. So I have knit the cuff twice, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to rip it out again. So I didn't do a gauge swatch. I figured I would just knit the colorwork cuff to get the gauge. I started with, so she said anywhere between a 4 to a 6 to get gauged. I didn't have a 4, so I started off with a size US 5 needle. And it was way too tight. So then I went up to a US 6, and it is still really tight. Now I can get it barely over my hands, and it's a snug fit. So I don't know whether or not I'm going to continue knitting it at this gauge and then hoping that when I block it, it'll grow a little bit. Or if I'm just gonna rip it back and do a size 7. The only thing is I don't have size 7 needles, so I would have, that I enjoy. The mittens I knit from my mother, the wood stack mittens, I knit on a size 7. They were a bamboo pair, and I don't mind working with bamboo, but the cord was horrible. It was stiff and thick and unyielding. So I will not use those needles again. So I don't know. I don't know whether to try and maybe knit one whole mitten and block it and see how it comes out before I start the second one. I got these on sale for 50% off, so, and it's Patons classic wool, so it wasn't very inexpensive. So if I had to rip it back after I blocked it and go up to a larger needle, I won't feel so bad about playing around with this wool. It's not expensive or hard to find yarn. So we will see how that goes. So that is my final work in progress. So as you can see, I got a little bit of everything done, but I feel like I haven't made the biggest dent over the last few weeks. But I kind of, like I said, last weekend I did the 5 fish lip kiss heels on the socks, and I was just kind of done with socks. I was finding the little X pattern in the sweater to be too much. So that's when I decided to cast on the mittens, and then after doing the cuff twice on the mittens, I was like, that's it, I just need something else to do. So I decided I was going to swatch for the Klondyke Sweater, and this is by Mary Ann Benedetto, and it is a pattern out of the Interweave Knits Winter 2008 magazine, and here's a picture of the sweater. So I had wanted the same color as the what was in the magazine. I want a gray sweater. I don't have one yet. So they had said that the color that was used was ash. I think it's, let's see, it's color 54. Let me just take ash heather. So I picked up 10 balls of, it's Lopi. I'm not even going to try and say what type of Lopi it is. However, to me, these two colors aren't quite the same, so it's probably the lighting in the picture. But I do like it, and it's going to go with everything. It's neutral. It's more of a light beige, and I really wanted gray. But I'm going with it. I like it. I have the yarn. So I knit up the swatch, and believe it or not, first time, and I have the right amount of stitches. My gauge is great. So I am ready to go as soon as I get the Zweig off of the needles. So that is all I have been knitting on, which has, believe me, been quite enough over the the last few weeks. And like I said, unfortunately it seems like I knit a little bit on this project and a little bit on this project, and I kind of feel like I haven't accomplished as much as I could have had I concentrated on 1 or 2 projects instead of 6 projects. So feeling a little overwhelmed, but hopefully I will get the socks off the needles, get those sleeves done, and then I can kind of figure out what I want to do with the mittens, if I want to go up a size or just finish knitting those and seeing how they come out. So that is what I've been working on the last few weeks. So I do have some acquisitions that I did want to share with you that I had purchased over the last few weeks. Some of these I had pre-ordered and they took a little while to come in. So let me start with, I picked up a couple of progress keepers, and as you can see on the majority of my projects I haven't been using project keepers. However, I feel like if I start using them in this way, I can see what I've actually accomplished. I'd probably feel a little bit better. Like I said, I was feeling overwhelmed and feeling like I wasn't getting anywhere with my knitting. So I figured this would be a fun way to work on that. So the first 2 progress keepers, the first few progress keepers I picked up are by Charmed and Dangerous, and she is on Etsy. So I picked up 2 of these. So the first one I picked up was this cute little banana peanut butter toast, and this I love. This reminded me of my grandmother. She loved peanut butter banana fried sandwiches. So I saw this little guy and I couldn't help but pick it up. The second progress keeper I had picked up from her was this little Pikachu cupcake. Now, I watch Pokemon the cartoon. I don't play any of the games. My kids are huge into them, and I love Pikachu. I think he's adorable. Not the biggest Pokemon fan. I don't even really think I understand the concept behind it. However, out of the shows that my kids watch, they're really into Yokai Watch and Beyblade. Beyblade, I think, is the newest one out that they've been obsessed with. I have to say, I would rather watch Pokemon than those 2, maybe because I'm used to it. I don't know. But anyways, I saw him. I thought he was absolutely adorable. So I picked it up, and it reminds me of, I made a Pikachu hat for my youngest son for Halloween one time. He was Pikachu. If I can find the picture of him in that, I'll put it here. But it reminds me of him, so I couldn't resist. I picked him up too. Then the second or third progress keeper I picked up is by Simply Serving. And here's her card, and she's on Etsy as well. Now on Instagram, she had posted she was doing a pre-order of these, and I could not, oh, it's in a little back. I couldn't resist. I had to order it. It is her, look at this, the Book of Monsters from Harry Potter. How adorable is this? I absolutely love this. This is my first progress keeper by her. I think this is going to become a new addiction. So I purchased 2 at Christmas time that I had shared from Sugar Tots. I had done the Peppermint Bark Narwhal from her and the Strawberry Frap progress keeper. And now I've picked up these as well. This could easily become a new addiction. They're so adorable. So that is it for the progress keepers, which is enough, because if I have that many projects on the needles, it is too many. So the next thing I had picked up, so I had ordered my 10 balls of Velopi, and I'm not gonna, again, try and even come close to pronouncing it. If anyone knows how to pronounce it, let me know. That would be great. But I am not going to even try. So when I had picked these up, I ordered them from Webs, which is yarn.com. And if you spend over a certain amount, you get a 20% discount. I think I hit the 25 because I had picked up, I think keep saying 10. I picked up 11 because I wanted to make sure I had enough yarn for a swatch on top of the sweater. Then if you had looked at my last podcast, I had actually picked up 2 skeins for my exploration station. So I had picked those up, and then I was just a few dollars away from getting that 25% off. So I ended up picking up this Regia Arnie and Carlos, and this is the 3657 colorway. I believe it is the Summer Nights color. However, I think these are going to be a pair of Christmas socks rather than Summer Nights. I think this will end up being a pair of Christmas socks for myself. I love the thought of having, I think it was definitely Amy from Stranded, the Stranded podcast, who suggested or is trying to do 24 Christmas socks. So for the whole month of December, she has enough socks leading up to Christmas. I love that idea, but that's not a goal. I'll slowly work to that goal. I have 3 socks already. I have 2 planned out for this year. Plus I have this one if I have time to squeeze in another one. But again, I'm in no rush to get 24 Christmas socks, as great as an idea as that is. So, and then, see, this is why Instagram is a horrible thing. Because I see things on Instagram, it is the biggest enabler for me. So my last Yarny purchase is by Moonstone Dye Works, and here is her card, and this is Tommy, and she also does the Squirrel Pie Productions podcast. Now I'm sorry for the jingling of my dog's collar. So I had knit the Raina shawl out of her Stellina base yarn, and I loved it so much. And then I saw her post this beautiful skein of yarn. This is her BFL sock, and this is in the Crescent Moon, and it's got browns and plums and blue speckles. Her speckles are amazing. I want to show absolutely in love. I don't know. I would like these to be a pair of socks, and I had also mentioned that I'd like to design my own pair of socks this year, cable socks, just for myself. So this may be what I'll use to design those, because this is just, it's stunning. Wow, look at that. Keep showing this. So I picked up these, and this is her BFL, which is an 80% Superwash Blue Face Luster and 20% nylon. And I love the 80-20 blends. Those are my favorite to knit socks with. So I am excited about this and trying to think of ideas for how I want to design these socks. Then the last thing I bought, so I don't know where I have been. Of course I have heard of Arnie and Carlos. I'm a huge admirer of their patterns. They do beautiful things. But I didn't realize they had a YouTube channel, and I was catching up on some of their backlogs, and they were talking about their book, The 55 Christmas Balls to Knit. So I ended up picking this up. I would love to knit some ornaments. I say that. I would love hand knit ornaments on my trees, my Christmas tree. My husband, on the other hand, he's not a huge knit person. He does not want me to knit him any socks. He does not want me to knit him a sweater or knit him a hat. He's very supportive of my knitting for myself and for the boys and for other people. He just wants nothing to do with it. I mean, look at these. I would love a Christmas tree full of these. So I have decided I am going to start knitting Christmas balls. Whether they get put on our big Christmas tree or I get a little Christmas tree to put them on will remain to be seen. But I would like to knit at least one or two, look at these, one or two a month. They've knit these out of Dale of Norway yarn. I would love to be able to knit them with the same yarn that they used. It was online and I really haven't found it online where you can purchase it in the United States. So if anyone knows, look at, if I could get a little tree like that, maybe for the center of my table, how pretty is that? So if anyone has any suggestions on where I could find that yarn, I would like to do just plain red and cream, or burgundy and cream for the colors. But this is, I'm excited, I can't wait. So just to add on to everything else I've been knitting, I plan on doing one a month, I think is reasonable. They were saying it takes them about 45 minutes, so maybe it'll take me about an hour and a half. We'll see. So that is it for my purchases. So that is all the knitting things. So, and I have to say, the last few weeks has been rather uneventful as far as things to do. We got a nor'easter January 4th with 12 inches of snow. We didn't have to go to work, which was great. Everything was kind of closed down. So it was nice to have a day off to knit and relax, and beautiful to see the snow fall. And I love the snow as long as I don't have to drive anywhere. Now tomorrow we're supposed to get 3 to 6 inches and I will have to go to work, so we'll see how that goes. But it's so funny with the weather patterns. We had the nor'easter, we had 50-degree weather last week, it froze, it's freezing cold right now, it's going to be 3 to 6 inches of snow tomorrow, and then come the weekend, I think it's going to be mid to upper 40s. So as they say in New England, if you don't like the weather, just wait a day. It will completely change. Sometimes within an hour it will completely change. So other than that, so like I said, with the weather being as crazy as it is, there hasn't been much going on here, and we haven't been going out that much or doing anything. Nothing in the theater I think that we've wanted to see that'll get us to the movie theater. I do want to see the Orient Express, so I know that is in a small local theater in Millbury, so I may try and check that out. But other than that, there's been no movies like we've been dying to take the kids to go see. So that's about it. And as for what's coming this week, I am excited. So on Saturday, I am taking a bullet journaling class at our local library. Our library is amazing. I feel bad. Our library is in this small, I think 2,000 square foot space. So a lot of the times I'll have to order books and it'll come in from a different library to pick it up. But they do the most amazing programs for both adults and children alike. They're absolutely wonderful. So anyways, they're doing this bullet journaling class. So I am taking that on Saturday. Not that I need another hobby, but we're gonna go for it anyways. So even if I'd like to do my projects, maybe do a bullet journal with my projects and keep like the yarn that I've used, kind of like what I've done on Ravelry with the same type of things but written out. I'd like to give that a try. We'll see. So that is it for the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking or subscribing to my channel. And I hope you have a great 2 weeks ahead. Bye.